Want to get shredded without obsessing over every single calorie? I know, it sounds too good to be true, right? Today, I'm breaking down how I burned fat and got lean while keeping dieting simple and stress-free. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. My name is Matt. I'm a specialist physiotherapist, qualified personal trainer, and over the course of my career, I've helped hundreds of people get pain-free and into the best shape of their lives. In this video, I'll share with you how I got lean without tracking a single calorie. So firstly, we need to talk about why calorie tracking fails. Now, calorie counting sounds precise, but for some people it can be inaccurate and stressful. You would have heard the phrase, numbers don't lie. The numbers can't lie, and that is true, but we humans are using the numbers, and unfortunately, humans do lie. People quite often underestimate their food intake and overestimate their calorie expenditure, or TDEE, which leads to frustration. Tracking every bite can lead to obsession and burnout. Now, I used to track calories obsessively all the time. It did make me quite anxious and it was unsustainable. The only exception to this is if I know that I need to diet for 4 to 6 weeks, if I'm doing a mini cut and I want everything to run really smoothly, I will still track. But you don't need to track every single calorie to get shredded. There is a smarter way. Now, let me talk you through my minimal dieting strategy. This is one that I use when I'm not really too strict on the tracking. I just need to know roughly what I'm eating day to day, and I mostly rotate similar sorts of meals. I focus on consistent habits and not numbers. Intermittent fasting and mindful eating. So my daily routine is to wake up, and immediately after waking I will drink plenty of water with a pinch of Himalayan pink salt. After about 60 to 90 minutes, I'll have a black coffee, which will help blunt my appetite, help me stay focused during the work that I need to do, and ultimately helps me push my first meal back a couple of hours. I usually try and have 1 cup of coffee, but sometimes this can extend to 2 cups, and that's completely fine. Then around 12 p.m. I will have my first meal. This will usually be an omelette, 1 to 2 slices of toast, and a protein shake. It's high in protein, moderate in fats, and moderate in carbs, and it keeps me full and satiated for a few hours. Then around 3:30 or 4 p.m, I will start feeling hungry again, or at least that's when my body is programmed to start eating, and I'll have a snack. So that snack will be a piece of fruit or a green shake, plus a sandwich with a good protein source, so chicken slices, tuna, prawn cocktail, or some roast beef slices. This little pre-workout snack or little meal fuels me for my workout, which usually happens around 5 p.m. 4 times a week. And then around 8 p.m. after my workout, I'll have my biggest meal. This will be pretty carb heavy, moderate in fats, moderate in protein. Now this meal is very flexible. I can order a takeout, I can go out and eat, or I can make something at home. So things that I really like to eat: sushi, delicious, Vietnamese, some sort of grilled food, either Turkish, Argentinian, Chinese food. Sometimes if I've not got any shoots coming up and my skin can flare up if it wants to, then I'll have some pizza, because I do love a good pizza as well. I focus on hitting my macronutrients. Protein is the priority, and I aim for around 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. I keep my fats to the minimum, 0.3 to 0.4 grams per pound of body weight, and the rest of my calories are made up by carbs, which are determined by my activity level. I also aim to get around 15,000 steps a day. This increases my total energy expenditure, or TDEE, naturally without extra effort. Also, there are so many health benefits to being outside, getting that daylight exposure. Okay, great. So why does this work better than tracking calories? It's sustainable because it's real life. There's no obsessive logging or stress. And also, it's actually very hard to track exactly what you're eating when you go to a restaurant, because the restaurant doesn't care whether you get an extra oil here, because the oil makes the food taste better. It doesn't really care if you're getting less protein here or there, because they want to skimp out protein, because protein is expensive. The thing that you have to remember is that protein preserves muscle during a fat loss phase, even if you're not tracking religiously. Intermittent fasting naturally limits the eating window, which reduces the risk of overeating. There's only so many calories you can squeeze into 8 hours. And then being more flexible for dinner, going out to eat, ordering a takeout, seeing friends, makes it feel like you're less deprived, not only in terms of the food that you eat, but also mentally, emotionally. This makes the diet far easier to stick to long term. And of course, walking 12,000 to 15,000 steps every single day increases your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, therefore also increasing your TDEE, total daily energy expenditure. You burn more calories without feeling more hungry. Because I'm going to let you in on a little secret. If you go out for a run, you do loads of extra cardio, Yes, you burn more calories technically, but at the same time, you're going to make yourself more hungry and more likely to overeat and eat those calories back. Now, this approach helped me stay lean on shoots and trips without over obsessing about food and calories. In fact, when I went to the States back in 2023, I was actually able to diet down and lose weight in America. That in itself is an achievement, I feel. So how can you start minimal effort dieting today? Exactly how I did it. Begin your day with intermittent fasting. Drink plenty of water. Sparkling water is also great for helping you blunt your appetite. And then have a black coffee when you start to get hungry around 90 minutes after waking up. You also want to build your daily meals around protein first, and then fats, and then carbs. If you have your proteins, fats, and veggies first, and then you have your carbs around 30 minutes after, you're going to feel more full, you're going to feel more satiated. You also want to keep your first 1 to 2 meals basic and consistent, which is going to help simplify planning. In fact, I would advise eating pretty much the same thing every single day for the first 2 meals, and that way you don't really have to think about it too much. As I talked about, I like to put my protein sources on a little bit of rotation. So some days I'll have roast chicken slices, some days it'll be tuna, other days it will be prawn cocktail, and some days I'll treat myself to roast beef. And then you want to make dinner your flexible, enjoyable meal. That's going to help you avoid cravings and binge eating episodes. And of course, I talked about walking around 12,000 to 15,000 steps a day. Now, if you don't want to walk 15,000 steps all in one go, which will take about 2 hours, you can split them up. So you can walk about half an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon, and then half an hour in the evening. Or better still, go for a walk right after you've had a meal. Because if you do that, it's going to help with nutrient partitioning and it's going to help your digestion process. A little bonus tip is to prioritize resistance training. You want to be training 2 to 4 times a week. Closer to 2 times a week if you're a beginner, and closer to 3 to 4 times a week if you're more advanced. This is going to help you preserve your muscle mass and maintain it while you're in this dieting phase. If you guys want someone to start, then you can grab my free 2 times a week minimalistic aesthetic body plan. Link is in the bio. If you're a little bit more advanced and you want to grab my new Aesthetic Body 3.0 workout plan, which is training 3 times a week, it also comes with a fat loss guide. That's why I've called it a 2-in-1. Link is also in the bio, go and check it out. And of course, you have the standard sleep, hydrate, manage stress. These are key factors that often get overlooked. If you want to make the entire dieting process and getting shredded easy, effortless and enjoyable, then consider subscribing and clicking the notifications bell because I post weekly content on this topic. My content is going to help you diet down effortlessly, get lean, shredded, and build an aesthetic physique like a male model. Drop a comment if you're ready to ditch this obsessive macro counting and you want to keep fat loss minimalistic and sustainable. And let me know your biggest dieting struggle. I'm going to help you crush it. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
I'm on my own, broken alone. I feel the rain crashing down all around this empty town. I'm searching for the lost and found.